Hello everyone, and welcome to our marketing education event featuring our Principles of Marketing bundle. My name is Paul Cotter, and I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Higher Education at Stukent. I'm so thrilled to be here with you today. As we begin, I want to encourage you to use the chat feature. You'll find it on the right side of your screen. This is where you can submit any questions you have about our Principles of Marketing courseware and simulation. Our amazing team is standing by to answer your questions in real time throughout the event. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end. Let's go ahead and get started. Chat in and share where you're from. Tell us which courses you love to teach. Oh, and this goes without saying, but please be respectful and polite when commenting. We want this event to be enjoyable for everyone. Additionally, we'd love to hear your thoughts, so please participate in the polls throughout today's event. Over the last decade, Stukent has developed more than 30 courseware and simulations in the marketing, business, and communications spaces. And we're not stopping there. We promise to continue to innovate and develop products in new subjects and categories. Our mission is to help you, help your students, help the world. We do that by developing robust, first-in-the-world resources that reduce your preparation time and bring high-quality educational experiences into your classroom. But let's get back to today. We have a great event planned for you. To kick things off, I'd like to introduce Stukent's CEO and founder, Stuart Draper. He's here to share a few thoughts with you.
At Stukent, we're on a mission to help educators help students help the world. We do that by developing first-in-the-world simulations and up-to-date courseware to help you create impactful, hands-on learning experiences for your students. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the amazing resources our team has built for the courses that you teach. We've spent months creating these materials with our authors and our subject matter experts, working to build the best possible materials for you. But you know what? At Stukent, we're never quite finished with the resources we release. They're ready for use in your classroom, yes, but we're always working to make them better. We strive to keep our materials current with what's happening in your industry today, which means we update them annually and take the work of keeping your course current. If there's something you don't like about our materials, or if there's something you think we can improve upon, please let us know. We're here for you. Consider us your custom simulation and courseware provider. If we don't make it just the way you need it, we'll keep working on it to make it better. Semester after semester, we aim to bring you the best simulations and courseware in the industry, and we're not going anywhere. Over the last decade, we've been featured on the Inc. 5000 list 5 times. We've helped nearly 750,000 students at schools all over the country, and we can't wait to help you and your students next. That's why I'm pleased to share Stukent's Principles of Marketing bundle with you today. You and your students are going to love this bundle. It includes ready-made resources to help you teach your course in less prep time, while also providing engaging, hands-on assignments for your students. Stukent's resources allow your students to apply what they're learning to real-world scenarios. Students won't just memorize key terms and concepts. They'll put their learning to work. The Marketing Principles Simulation gives students the opportunity to launch an all-new product for a company and perform essential marketing tasks in a safe, simulated environment. The simulation was designed to pair with the Modern Marketing Principles courseware, which gives your students an accessible digital text and comes packed with a powerful suite of educational resources created by top marketing educators and industry experts. Today, you're going to tour the Marketing Principles Simulation with the Stukent team and go on a deep dive into the courseware with authors Kinda Wilson and Jerry Rackley. Throughout the event, feel free to chat in any questions you may have. The Stukent team will be standing by to help you. Thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to show you what our team has built to help you help students help the world. Enjoy the show.
As Stuart pointed out, we're excited to show you our revolutionary marketing principles simulation. This simulation is the perfect complement to Kinda Wilson and Jerry Rackley's courseware, Modern Marketing Principles. Stukent's Marketing Principles Simulation is a powerful way to acquaint students with the 4 P's of marketing and other important concepts. At Stukent, we believe that lasting learning comes from hands-on experience. Our simulations reinforce student knowledge, giving them the opportunity to experiment with the concepts they're learning in your classroom. A Stukent simulation is the homework your students want to do. And best of all, it doesn't create additional work for you. Our simulations are loaded with time-saving features for educators, including auto-grading, LMS integration, individualized student feedback, and more. A Stukent simulation won't teach your course for you, but it's a powerful tool to reinforce learning for a lifetime. But don't take it from me. Allow me to introduce you to Garrett Brock, our Vice President of Marketing. He's going to walk you through our innovative and exciting marketing principles simulation.
Thanks, Paul. I am so excited to show Stukent's Marketing Principles Simulation. Today, we're going to take a tour of the instructor resources that will make your job a little easier and show all of the features that get your students excited about the concepts you're teaching them. Students and educators all over the world rave about the Marketing Principles Simulation, and we know you'll love it too. At Stukent, innovation is at the heart of everything we do. Our mission is to create products and solutions that not only benefit educators and students, but also have a positive impact on the world. We assemble top-notch teams of engineers, innovators, academic partners, and industry leaders to achieve this goal. Together, we develop the best possible simulations and courseware for your students. In 2021, the Journal of the Academy of Business Education noted a clear correlation between the use of simulations and student satisfaction. Stukent simulations make it easy for you to be everyone's favorite professor. They not only cement student learning for a lifetime, but they also give students the hands-on experience they need to succeed in the workforce from day one. The Marketing Principles Simulation helps to reinforce the concepts in your curriculum. It gives your students a comprehensive understanding of how each of the 4 P's of marketing functions in the real world. If you have used the Stukent simulation before, you know that it provides a realistic, hands-on experience for your students. The Marketing Principles Simulation is no exception. Over 7 rounds, your students will work as marketing managers at an e-commerce retailer, Bowie Supply Co. In this role, students will have the opportunity to launch a tote bag to a new target demographic. During each round of the simulation, students will receive instructions from simulated supervisors and coworkers, just like they would in the real job. Students are expected to check their email inboxes, where they will receive regular updates from their supervisors. The inbox provides the information students need to complete each round. Students also need to check their notifications hub, where they will receive questions posed by their colleagues and peers. This is a great self-assessment opportunity for students, as it gives them individualized feedback and helps reinforce the concepts they're learning. Like any real-world product launch, students will start the Marketing Principles Simulation by preparing research on their target market. In the first round, they'll be responsible for assembling a survey and choosing the right third-party research to purchase. With research in hand, your students will be able to put the 4 P's of marketing into practice: product, price, promotion, and placement. Students will use their data to craft a unique positioning statement for their target market, soccer mom Sam. Then, choose the right product and determine a pricing strategy based on consumer and competitor data. Not everyone can get a pricing strategy right the first time, and students will be able to optimize their price throughout the simulation. The next marketing principle students experience is promotion, where students must think critically and make decisions based on data. Students will create an advertising mix, develop a promotional plan, and set up distribution channels. These rounds give your students incredible insights into the marketing process. They not only help students build marketable skill sets, but also give students an understanding of the day-to-day process in a marketing department. Plus, they'll allow students to have a real conversation about their real marketing experience with potential employers. Finally, students get to make some placement and distribution decisions. Careful review of customer profiles, revenue per unit, and traffic are necessary for generating revenue. Students will continue to optimize their pricing, promotions, and placement choices in each round, refining their selection each time. After running each round, the marketing principles simulations will give students feedback on their quarterly revenue, margin, and cost per goods sold to drive optimization decisions. Upon finishing the simulation, students will receive a certificate of completion to showcase on their LinkedIn profiles, thus highlighting their achievements and knowledge. Now let's go over some of the great features in the marketing principles simulation that will help you keep your course on track with less hassle and with less stress. All of Stukent's simulations are fully integrated with major learning management systems such as Canvas, Blackboard, and Moodle. D2L Brightspace and Schoology integrations will be available soon. Stukent integration includes great features such as single sign-on, gradebook syncing, rostering, and deep linking. It is easy to integrate our simulations with your current platform, and our team is here to assist you every step of the way. Now let's take a closer look inside the instructor portal, which gives you multiple features to navigate and manage your course. First, you will see student results. Once you're here, click a student's name to find both the KPIs and the feedback the student received in the simulation. This is a powerful tool for working one-on-one with your students. Under the Student Results tab, you can easily reset around if you need to grant accommodation to a student. We know accommodations are important for quizzes and tests, so we want to empower you as the instructor to grant them in the simulation. Instructors using Stukent simulations love the ability to pace the simulation with their course. It is easy to create a start date for each round of the simulation, which allows students to absorb the concepts from the courseware and your lectures before starting a round. This sets your students up for success in the simulation, as they won't be seeing concepts or vocabulary for the first time. Under the Resources tab, you'll notice the Marketing Principles Simulation Instructor Guide. This guide provides all the information you need, including simulation setup and structure, round overviews, evaluation methods, and frequently asked questions. With this comprehensive document, you'll feel prepared to introduce the simulation to your students. You can unlock the full potential of Stukent's courseware with the support of our dedicated team. In addition to the instructor portal and the resources provided, you'll be assigned a personal customer success manager. Their goal is to ensure that you feel comfortable using our platform, whether it's through training, onboarding calls, or brainstorming ideas to make your experience even better. Your CSM is your go-to contact at Stukent, available to assist you at any time. Your students will also have access to our highly rated virtual TAs. Our virtual TAs are industry leaders in student support, boasting a 96% customer satisfaction rating. As you can see, we are here for you every step of the way. If you ever have any questions, please reach out to our support team. And that's it. Stukent's Marketing Principles Simulation is an easy-to-use tool to enrich your students' education. It not only helps your students get hands-on experience with the basic principles in your course, but it also allows them to explore what it's like to be a marketer in the real world. If you have any questions or would like to walk through the full Marketing Principles Simulation, schedule a demo with a Stukent course consultant today. They can answer any questions you may have and help you see how the simulation can fit into your curriculum. Don't hesitate to reach out and take the next step in enhancing your students' education. Thanks for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, Garrett. We are excited to see how this simulation will continue to transform your classrooms and your students' lives. If you would like to see how the Marketing Principles Simulation can elevate your marketing curriculum, check out this Stukent case study. It tells the story of a Midwestern university that had its students play 2 different marketing simulations over a semester. The first was Stukent's Marketing Principles, and the second was a simulation from a major competitor. The result? 80% of students recommended Stukent's simulation over the industry leader. To learn why, download the PDF today. You'll find it in the Handouts tab on the right side of your screen. Now I'm excited to talk about our unique courseware, Modern Marketing Principles by Kinda Wilson and Jerry Rackley from Oklahoma State University. Kinda and Jerry are passionate educators and industry professionals. They've combined their diverse perspectives and experience to develop a courseware you're going to love. To create this courseware, Kinda and Jerry paired up-to-date resources for you with engaging content for your students. You'll get detailed lesson plans, auto-graded quizzes, lecture slide decks, and so much more. This allows you to teach the principles of marketing as efficiently as possible. The courseware contains an accessible, conversational text and makes it easy for students to understand core marketing concepts. Plus, it's updated annually, which takes the pain out of keeping your curriculum current. We do the work for you. The Modern Marketing Principles courseware got its start at Oklahoma State University. Several years ago, the OSU Marketing Department asked Kinda to redesign their Principles of Marketing course from the ground up. They wanted to make their course more engaging, hands-on, and reflective of what employers were actually looking for in prospective employees. Kinda wanted to create a course that wouldn't just teach students the foundational concepts of marketing, but one that would also arm them with the skills they would need for success. She wanted to give students a real-world experience with what they were learning in her classroom. However, Kinda quickly realized that none of the materials on the market fit her desired approach. So, she built a whole new curriculum from scratch. After a year of running the new course, the OSU Marketing Department hailed it as a success, suggesting that Kinda publish the resources and text to provide educators with better tools to teach the principles of marketing. Jerry suggested Kinda publish with Stukent, and the rest is history. Here at Stukent, we are proud to bring you Kinda and Jerry's Modern Marketing Principles courseware. These veteran educators have distilled decades of marketing experience into these materials, bringing a wealth of industry perspective and knowledge into your classroom. So I'm excited to introduce you to Jerry Rackley and Kinda Wilson. They're going to walk you through some of their favorite aspects of this courseware.
Well, hi everybody, and thanks Paul for your comments and introduction. And today I am representing myself, Jerry Rackley, one of the authors of Modern Marketing Principles, and my co-author, Kinda Wilson, who is currently teaching in Italy for a semester. So she will join us for the live Q&A, but she couldn't be with me here today as we are talking to you. So I wanted to just back up a little bit. I mean, Paul shared some of the backstory about our text, and there's another piece to that story I felt like it was important to add. When we go back a few years ago to when at Oklahoma State and the Spears School of Business decided it is time to completely re-engineer our introductory principles of marketing course. Everything Paul shared was correct, but there's another important part of that process that I think really helps you understand more about this text that Kinda and I have created. We began the entire process of redesigning the principles of marketing course we teach to every business major here at Oklahoma State by gathering all of our faculty together in a conference room. And it was tough from a scheduling perspective, but everyone knew how important this was. And we got everyone in a room, and we had scattered around the room a series of easels with marker pads. And everyone was given a prompt to go around and to write on these marker boards, these pads of paper, what are the things you feel are absolutely essential that must be taught in a Principles of Marketing course. And as we spent time going around the room, writing those ideas and seeing what other people had written, this textbook really started to crystallize from that experience. And it was so great to have the input of our faculty. And so I'm saying that because when you look at this text and you see two people listed as authors, the truth is we had our entire marketing and international business faculty contribute the ideas and the structure for this particular text. And I think that's important to know. So as anybody is considering a text to use for the Principles course, why ours? Well, there are a lot of good texts out there, but I'm really pleased and proud of what we've put together here for several reasons. One is that Kenda and I, we come from two different yet complementary perspectives, and both of us have spent significant time in industry. I am now in my 4th decade as a marketing professional, and most of my experience has been in industry as a marketing manager, a VP of marketing, director of marketing, and a lot of it in the B2B world. Kenda is very similar. She has rich, deep experience as a marketing professional. She has much more B2C experience, and that proved to be a very good balance. As we were working together on the text and writing the content for it, there was just a natural division where she wrote about the things she was very experienced at, and I wrote about the things I was experienced at. So that's one thing, is just our perspective, having really come from an industry background. Both of us wrote this text in such a way that we thought we want to have a text that the students who learn from it would become the kind of students we would hire in industry. So to provide that kind of background. Something else that's a little bit unique about our text, and we do get some feedback about this, is the layout, the structure of the chapters, the order in which they are presented. So one quick example is simply the 2nd chapter of our courseware is on marketing research. And a lot of people have said, that's interesting. Why? Why have you put that second when a lot of texts put that closer to the end? And the reason's very simple. We looked at the process we used as marketing professionals to go through and engage a set of customers or even an industry segment, a market segment. How do we begin that process? And in our professional experience, one of the first things we always wanted to do was conduct some research. Let's understand the customers and why they behave the way they do. Let's understand the market and its competitors. And with that information, we were then able to go and build a marketing plan and structure campaigns and execute them very effectively. So that's just one example of why you might see the chapters ordered a little bit differently in our text than in some other texts. This courseware also is different in terms of the resources that go with it. We have what is relatively concise in terms of the content chapter to chapter. And in fact, we get feedback from students and instructors and professors alike that tell us they like how concise each chapter is. But when you look at the supplemental material that goes with every single chapter, it almost doubles the size of the content available as a resource to anyone who teaches this class. We have a test bank that has over 1,600 questions. We have case studies, as Kenda has talked about. She really put together a wonderful set of video cases that go with each chapter. And all these resources combined to make it very easy for someone to deliver this course. If you are brand new, just got assigned with having to teach the Principles course, the resource set is very rich and will help you get where you need to be very quickly and provide the students with a rich learning experience. If you are, on the other hand, very experienced, you can take the materials that we provided you, use what you want, add your own, And either way, it's going to be very quick and very easy for you to get into the classroom with this courseware and deliver a great learning experience to the students. So that's just a little bit about our courseware. I know we have a Q&A session that's following, and we would love to hear what are your questions about this. Some of you, in fact, may ask us, how do you teach this class? And that's something else I would point out as I kind of wrap up my thoughts here. This courseware really facilitates the delivery of a Principles of Marketing course, either traditionally, someone who wants to provide lectures and have some in-class engagement, or as we do here at Oklahoma State, we have completely flipped our Principles course. So we have assignments and lecture videos and other materials the students consume outside the classroom. When they come into the classroom, they spend all of their time working together in teams on the case studies for each chapter of the text. And it seems to go very well. And here's one of the ways we know that. Here at the Spear School of Business at Oklahoma State, marketing is the #1 major. We have the most majors in the Spear School. And one of the reasons we think that's true, because every business major is required to take the Principles of Marketing course. As you know, many students take that as freshmen, and many students who enter their freshman year are not 100% decided on what their major is going to be. As they go through our Principles of Marketing course, they have such a great experience. So many of them come out of it saying, this is it. This is what I want to major in. And so we get a lot of undecided students who decide marketing is going to be their major. And then we have some other students who say, you know what, I was majoring in something else, but now I'm going to marketing because I really like what I've learned in this class and what marketing is all about. So I think that's mostly what I wanted to share with you. Kinda will have some things that she'll say as well in her portion, but if you have questions, we will be here for the Q&A.
Thanks, Jerry. We love working with you and with Kinda. And it's always so exciting to see the impact that your courseware, the simulation, and the video case studies are having on the lives of students throughout the world. Now, if you haven't already, please take a moment to request free instructor access to the Modern Marketing Principles courseware and simulation bundle. With instructor access, you'll be able to review the simulation, the courseware, the lesson plans, assignments, and so much more. Now, before we jump into the Q&A, I'd like to get your input on some of the product renovations that we're working on. So we're going to put 2 polls up right now in the sidebar, and we'd love to get your input. So we'd like you to let us know what percentage of your course's grades are based off of participation points. And we would also like to know how you feel about self and peer-reviewed grading. So please take a moment to answer those poll questions for us. Also, if you're interested in innovating with us or offering feedback on our Principles of Marketing bundle, click the link on the screen and see if you're a fit for Stukent's Innovation Partner Program. We would love to work with you. Now we've set aside some time for a question and answer session, and I'd like to invite Jerry, Kinda, and Levi Gruel, our Vice President of Sales, onto the stage at this time. While we're waiting for them to connect, go ahead and enter in any questions you have in the chat, and we will be sure to answer them for you. Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Kinda, Jerry.
Hello, hello.
Yay.
Hello.
So far away. Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody out there.
We hope you're enjoying Italy, Kinda.
I tried to talk them into having this be an in-person session for all of you over here, but they turned me down.
Next year. All right, well, to get started, we have a couple of questions that have already come in. And the first question I'm going to direct towards Kinda Kenda, the question is, can you talk about your case studies, how they're structured, and how they tie into the chapters?
Sure, yeah. I get really excited talking about the case studies because we really did build them because we could not find anything like them. I think you guys are probably hearing this as like a pattern by now about things being practical and applicable to the business world. But really, after coming through with a marketing degree and going out into the business world and thinking, wait, what is all this stuff? Why didn't I learn this? Why did I only take multiple choice tests and not get a chance to try this stuff out? When I went back to teaching, I really wanted a way for the students to test things out and try them out in a safe environment. Before, unlike I did, which was with a real company's money. Don't tell that company I made a few mistakes, but I wanted them to have a chance to test things out. But with an intro class, that was kind of hard because week 1 or 2 into the class, you can't really throw a huge case at them. They're just not ready for that. So we wanted something that could be a scope that they could handle, but still apply the topics that they had just learned and have a chance, like I said, to test it out. And with a real company, so they could feel like they were really doing this themselves. So we went and we found a bunch of real companies, different types, different subject areas, and we built this along with the text. So here's, this is something else that you should know is, so many times as an instructor, I've had the text and then I've tried to find content to, well, this sort of fits, but not really, but I'll twist it to fit here. So what we did, we built all of these together. So as we were creating the content, we made a case specifically for it. And stuff that would draw the students in instead of, put them to sleep. We like interesting things. So we've got topics like, a coffee shop where you've got puppies and puppuccinos and cappuccinos. And this week, the students in my class are rebranding a rock band. So you can see they come alive when they're doing this. One student this week actually said, I kid you not, said, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun one. So that's the idea behind the cases. And we wanted to create enough to where you could use them for whatever. So as whatever type of class that you're doing. So if you want to use a few throughout the semester, or I'm teaching more of a hybrid course this year where I lecture a little bit, they read a little bit, and then they work on it in class as well. Or we've got we're up to 16 cases now. You can fully flip the classroom and do it. So every week they'll cover the content, and if you have a case assigned that week, they'll work either alone or on a team and answer the questions with the case, but in a structured way, so that it's not overwhelming to them like a blank sheet of paper. We've got structured questions, and usually it ends up with a creative element or them building something. So they're building packaging material, or they're sketching out logo designs, or making a brand new coffee drink. So that's just a little bit about behind the ideas of what the cases are. So we've had good response from students. And as a side note, that's kind of fun. This week we've got students from all over the U.S., different colleges here at the Chimba program, business college. And then we've also got Italian students that were sitting in on my class this week. So we had Italian students, so we've got European students, and students from all over the U.S. working to rebrand the cases, rebrand the rock band in the case this week. And they were all brainstorming together and they got so excited working about it. There was so much energy in the room. So that's why I love working, using these cases in the class. I got a little excited, I told you, but that's the way it is.
It's great. We love the excitement, and your video case studies are awesome. I just want to give Jerry or Levi a chance if you have anything else to add about the case studies.
I think Ken just said it all, but we'll take any other questions if people have them about the cases.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're waiting on that, another question that we had is from William. He asked to describe the quality of your lecture slide decks. Are the main points with explanations in the lecture slides? So maybe just talk a little bit about the slides that you have.
Sure, I'll jump in.
Sure. Well, I'm happy to do that, and both of us, Kenda, because we can do that. First off, let me apologize. This is Murphy's Law, the landscaping company literally showed up at the start of the QA. So someone's running a device outside my conference room. Hopefully it's not interfering with you hearing what I have to say. It's funny, William, that you would ask that question, because just this week I've been going through and doing updates to the materials that I wrote in the book, including the slide deck. And so, for example, this may help answer your question. Chapter 12 is a chapter I wrote on services marketing. And I went in and looked at the instructor slide deck, and there were 43 slides for that chapter, which is a pretty good, rich set of slides. And they're, of course, beautifully done. Kinda had so much influence over the design and layout of the slides. So they're not just, plain text on a white background. No, they really match up quite well aesthetically with the look and feel of the text. But anyway, all that aside, as I was going through doing my updates on that chapter, I thought to myself, there are some things I want to add to the slide deck. So I added 4 new slides that I thought were pretty key. So that slide deck got even bigger. And I think that's pretty representative to how most of the chapters are. We tried to be very complete and give you all that you needed, and sometimes more than you needed, because every professor is different. Some professors rely heavily on the slides, and some of them just refer to them casually. So I think whichever way you want to go in terms of using that material in class, you're going to be covered very well. Kenda, what would you add?
Oh, I got something to add. Yeah, we're always thinking, like, how can we make the instructor process richer, like Jerry mentioned, but also smoother for those people, even if you do pick this up last minute to teach. And one thing we did, we noticed that we had an activity packet, like off the side of Teaching Guide, but then instructors would need to pull out those activities and put them in the slides. But as an instructor, I want to work engagement into the class. So one thing we asked this year was, how can we make it easier to add the option of engagement in the classroom? So we went through this slide deck, and every single chapter, this will show up for this upcoming semester in the latest update. We put all different engagement slides, be it discussion questions or complete activities that you can use that apply to the different topics, or even little speed competitions for the classroom for Q&A for the class, or for them to list different things as a kind of a test for what they've learned. So all that to say, like, now in the slides, we've added in as well all of those discussion slides, to where if you want to make the class interactive, either online or in person, that's already built into the slides for you. Whereas in the past, or with other curriculum, I've had to kind of, go through the slides and make notes in my notes pages out to the slide about questions that I want to ask the students. And now we've thought up some of those for you and put examples in the slides so that you can use them.
That's great. Levi, as the VP of Sales here at Stukent, do you have any feedback on how professors and instructors utilize these course materials, like the lecture slides, the assignments, the simulations, and how they all integrate them together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you deal with a classroom of even 20 students, right? You deal with students who have different learning modalities, who get engaged in different types of activities. And the concern that we get from instructors, especially as those class sizes grow, like in a Principles of Marketing course, they often do, is how do you reach all of the students, or the majority of the students? And how do you do that with the limited bandwidth that you have as an educator, right? You don't have endless amounts of time. That's a limited resource. And so with all the wonderful things that Kinda and Jerry have built, with the video case studies, with their work helping us build the simulation, with all of the assignments and projects and other engaging tools built with the courseware, instructors find that they're able to get in, and after that first chapter or so, they get a feel for this semester's class. Like, what's my 9 a.m. class really like this semester? And all of a sudden they realize, oh, this activity in chapter 2 or 3, like, I want to pull that one in. They're going to really resonate with that activity, and they start to put more emphasis on those things. And so it allows the instructor greater creative energy, right? There's less time creating content. It's more about, how do I get creative with the things that Ken and Jerry have already built to reach the students in my classroom? And they're powerful resources and tools and exercises. And so the educators I work with, that's what they're able to work, spend their energy on, and they find a lot more satisfaction in what they're doing. students have a better overall experience, and it ends up being a win-win all the way around. So.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, Levi.
Yeah.
Another question that we've had, and this can be for any of you, I get many students who may not be interested in pursuing a marketing major. Do you have suggestions through your courseware to keep these students engaged?
Oh, okay. Sure, I'll jump in on that one, because we have in the intro class, we have all of the majors, and usually like week one, we will have, there's everything from finance, accounting, or even non-business majors. And we've kind of had that reaction like, oh, this is marketing, or this won't be applicable to me, or this won't be interesting. And they get a few weeks into it on the cases, and they're calculating prices and profit margins. And all of a sudden, like, you see them like go from like, oh, it's marketing, to just kind of being drawn in and like, wait a minute, I like this. This is something I'm using the skills I need, but also I didn't know that marketing entailed that. I didn't know that distribution and calculating the margins for different channels, I didn't know that was part of marketing. Wait, what? It's not just TikTok. So you see that. And I love that process of seeing those students who think marketing is more narrow than it is. I love seeing them kind of drawn in and winning them over to the marketing world.
Yeah, I would add, of course, I'm a huge evangelist for marketing in our major. And, I love encountering students in the business school and meeting them and asking them what they're majoring in. And when it's not marketing, I'm immediately going into sales mode. But on a serious note, the thing I think I've learned is that a lot of students who haven't taken a marketing class have the wrong perception of what it is. And, most of the students think marketing equals advertising, and have got it to a very, very narrow understanding of what it really is. And I think we have the opportunity to teach non-marketing majors that marketing is far more strategic, and the marketing and sales function is the interface to the customer. And, as we've heard the old saying, I think one of the first CEOs of IBM said, nothing happens till someone makes a sale. And understanding customers, growing a business, and keeping customers and growing their value, these are all things that happen through marketing, and it's a very strategic function. It's a competitive function. We're out there slugging it out in the marketplace against competitors that want to beat us. And so it appeals to a lot of students because of the dynamic nature of what we do in marketing. And so I think it's really incumbent upon us, Kenda and myself, and all of us who teach marketing, to create the right understanding of what it's about. And I think when we do, we find that students really like it. They see this is important. It isn't just advertising. This is how companies grow and succeed, is through a really good, strong marketing function. So I'm constantly having conversations with students here in our business school. And there's kind of a joke with the students, that the new student recruiting team, every time they bring some students in, I say, tell them to major in marketing. And they go, you have enough majors already? And I said, no, we don't. So we're eagerly pursuing students by telling them what marketing is really all about. I don't know, Paul, if that answered the question or not, but you could tell I kind of have strong feelings about this.
No, those are great answers. And I love that you're recruiting everyone to the marketing degrees.
Constantly.
Yeah, that's great. Job security, right?
I'll add, if I could add something to that.
Yeah.
I think one of the powerful things about the way Kenda and Jerry have, wrote their courseware and built the assignments and projects is their industry experience. And you can feel that through the words that are written, obviously, but also the things that they've built to go along with it, where students recognize and realize, how does this actually apply outside of just understanding the principle, right? Because that's where students can obviously get pretty siloed of, oh, I don't want to be a marketer, so I don't need to understand this principle. But then all of a sudden, that industry experience comes in and it brings it to life, and students go, oh, my dad ran a landscaping company growing up, and I could see how if he would have done XYZ, maybe he would have had a better flow of customers or whatever the case may be, right? They can all of a sudden start applying those principles to anything, to blank, right? To any type of business or service that's out there. And you can feel that in the experience that, Ken and Jerry bring to the courseware and to the assignments and projects with the video case studies, the simulation, but also everything that's built within the courseware. And so, I didn't major in business or marketing. I know, shame on me, but as I've worked through it, as I've read through the different parts of it, it's been really engaging to me. And I could see, oh man, I could see how earlier in my career this would have been helpful or whatever it might be, right? So, their perspective shines through, and it's powerful for even, non-marketing focused students, so to speak.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Levi. I want to switch gears a little here and talk about the adaptability of your course. We have a question asking if they can teach this and use these materials for a summer course. So if you could maybe speak to the syllabus that you have and how this course can be adapted.
Yeah, I don't know how long your summer course is, but like I mentioned earlier with the cases, the resources are there to use as little or as much as you need. So I'm teaching a shorter course right now, and I just used enough cases for one per week because it's a short course. But we have all those resources there. I'm not sure if that's the direction that they were wanting to go with it or what specific questions they had for adapting it. But everything, including like the sim, as you were mentioning, you can put, you can start it when you want, you can set the rounds to start and end when you want. And the same thing with the courses, you can choose to add which cases that or cover which content that you feel applies. So we like to start the sim a few weeks in after they've just gotten a few weeks of content under their belts. But there's plenty of time in the summer course to cover the content. And I will say that's one of the benefits of us, like Jerry mentioned, is we really did say what needs to be in here, what is the core of what they need to know. And that makes it easier to cover the content because there's not a lot extra just thrown in just because it should be a 1,000-page textbook. So we're able to easily cover a good chunk of content in a week here. And I'm in a really fast-paced, shorter program right now. Shorter course along with it.
Yeah, and Antoine, I think, asked a question, what do we call a shorter course? So in our business school, our semesters are 16 weeks long. So that's probably a long course. But I think a shorter course would be 7 or 8. And I took courses when I earned my MBA. They were 7 weeks long. And it moves pretty fast. But as Ken just shared, you have the ability to build a syllabus around using the materials in this courseware around a course that short. And it would work quite well. Oh, and hours per week. Oh, gosh. So our 16-week semesters, we are meeting for 75 minutes twice a week. We have 2 class periods per week and face-to-face classes that are 75 minutes long each. So how would that change in an 8-week course? Well, obviously, we would need to keep the same number of instructional minutes. So obviously, an 8-week course, we would have to double that. So that means you would either you would meet twice as long, twice per week, or you would meet 4 times per week for 75 minutes.
And
yes, I'm sure the system's a little bit different there in France.
And that's why I'll throw this one in. And when you get the shorter courses, because right now I'm teaching in 3-hour blocks at a time in chunks. And what I don't want to do for 3 hours is like talk at them for 3 hours, especially if they're traveling on the weekends or if they have class all day. Like I am not like, no one's exciting enough to be exciting for that many hours in a row for an entire day, especially when you get into like 4, 6, and 8-week classes. So I really like having something like, Jerry's that exciting. Sorry, Jerry, you're definitely that exciting, but everyone else, like I'm not that exciting to be talking to my point 4 hours in a row. So this is why I love stuff like the cases or the simulation, is that because what we do is we cover a bit of a topic and then I'll have those engagement slides and we'll throw them to a class activity. So like we don't go more than 15 or 20 minutes without using one of the engagement slides and having a 2 or 3 or 4 minute interaction. And then every hour to hour and a half, we'll put in like a case discussion, and they'll either work on a bit of a case or they'll discuss their results from it and share their results, what they did. And it really changes it into a different dynamic. So instead of them getting just cognitive fatigue for just listening for hours, we kind of chunk it. So we learn, interact, and then they share, interact, learn. And it really does change the dynamic of the class, and it allows them to learn in a different way than even when they don't know they're learning, even when they're just interacting and practicing and discussing, they're still learning. So it really does help in those longer courses.
Thank you. Just as we're wrapping up today, if I could get both of you just to give us some key takeaways that you would want professors to know about the courseware and the simulation and the case studies.
Jared, you're going to jump in?
Key takeaways, I think it's, who goes first? I guess I'll jump in first, Kenda, is what I love about this courseware is it's a complete set. And I know that the Stukent promotion of the courseware spells that out. But if you haven't, by the way, had a chance to get in and take a look at it, please do that. You can do that for free. It isn't just the text. Of course, Kenda and I are very proud of the text, and I would say the text is the foundation, but it has all these other resources. It has these very professionally done case studies in video. It has a set of additional resources that gets longer through every revision. We're finding new things to put in there to help instructors with supplemental resources to really use as you wish. It has an extensive test bank of questions. It has a lesson plan. It has slides for instructors and slides for students. And it has a guide to teaching a principles course. I mean, there are just so many things. It really is turnkey. If you've never taught a principles course before and someone just hands it to you, your department head or the dean, and says, you have to do this, and you're starting to panic a little bit, this courseware will alleviate that panic because it has everything you need. That's my first take on how to answer your question, Paul.
Yeah, and I say takeaways. Everyone said adaptable quite a few times, so I don't want to say that one again. But one big thing is we built this with two concepts over and over. Is this applicable to the real world, in the business world, and with an educator viewpoint? How do we teach it? Like, how do we put this together so you can teach it? And how do we put it together for students so they can learn? So like that struggle and those two viewpoints in the textbook at all times, like how can we make it so students learn real world, applicable business world techniques from this, and how can we create it so instructors can actually teach well with it? Like those two concepts throughout the entire book and curriculum packet, like that's what those two concepts are, the kind of the overriding force behind why that we created this and how that we created it.
That's great. Thanks for sharing those. Those are great takeaways. Levi, for you, we've had a couple comments throughout the session today talking about, people saying they'd like to incorporate or utilize some of these resources in their class. If they're at that point that they know they are interested in using a part or a whole of this, what are their next steps?
Absolutely. My favorite question to ever get, right? I'm ready to use this in my course. What do I do now, right? So we have you schedule time with your dedicated course consultant. There should be a link pop up, but if not, it's just stukent.com/schedule. Oh, look at that. What a team we have. So you can click that link. We'll make sure your free instructor access is set up like we've already talked about to help you get access to start reviewing. We will then go ahead and get a little bit of information about your course, your start date, roughly how many students do you expect, etc., to make sure we can get your course set up on our end. And then we'll introduce you to your dedicated customer success manager. They'll help you with your onboarding process, implementation, making sure you know how to enroll students, etc. We really have a full team here to make sure that from semester one, you're a professional. You know exactly what you're doing with our Stukent material, and you're ready to rock and roll. So if you click that link, schedule a time, we can answer any one-on-one questions you have and then help you get your course set up and ready to go for fall, get you the ISBN number, all the wonderful things that you're going to need, all the hoops you have to jump through to change material. We'll make sure you have it all.
Great. Thanks, Levi. Well, that's all the time we have today. So I want to thank Levi for joining us. I want to thank Jerry and Kinda for taking time to teach us about your courseware and to answer questions. I want to thank Garrett for taking us on a tour of this simulation. And I want to thank all of you for joining us today, taking time out of your day to be with us. And we appreciate your continued support. And we hope you have a wonderful day. And remember to stay current with Stukent. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.